Alfie the Cat is played by Chip, owned by Matthew Vaughn's wife Claudia Schiffer. So I was actually really looking forward to seeing this movie. There's been a lot of mixed reviews about this movie and I just wanted to go see it for myself and make my own deductions. And I have to say it was such a fun spy movie to watch, and there's a lot of great things going on in this movie. There's only a couple minor things that I didn't like, but I will save those for the end of the review. First thing I really liked about this movie was the fun story that we get. We get a writer, Ellie, a very well-known spy author, and she happens to write a story about stuff that is actually happening unbeknownst to her. We meet Aiden, who is a spy for real. It's like a awakening for Ellie. You know, she has no control over what is actually happening, and her whole life has just been completely turned upside down. There's just lots of great action, there's lots of great comedy moments. I've never really seen Bryce Dallas Howard act in a more comedic way. All the movies I've ever seen her in, she's more of a serious character, not eccentric, not, you know, kind of clumsy. It was different, and I liked seeing that. I think Alfie the Cat stole the spotlight a lot. That was one of the problems I think people have with this movie. I think they thought this movie focused way too much on the cat. I actually wanted more scenes with Alfie the Cat in it because he was just hilarious. We still get tons of enjoyment out of just seeing a cat basically do nothing. The action sequences in this movie did not disappoint. I came into this movie knowing that we would get some classic Matthew Vaughn action. Specifically, if you've seen any of the Kingsman movies, you would know that the action is just always on point. The choreography is phenomenal. It's over the top, bloody, brutal, sometimes just out of left field. Like, you never really know what to expect in these action sequences, and that's one of the things I think is the strongest point of this movie is the creativity that Matthew Vaughn has when it comes to coming up with the craziest action sequences ever. Easily my favorite scene in the movie was the action sequence at the very end of the movie with the colored smoke bombs, and then they made a whole dance sequence out of it. It almost reminded me a little bit of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but also it just reminded me so much of the final fight in the first Kingsman movie where they're in a hall, just like that, and Eggsy is just tearing through people. In this movie it was two people, and the choreography and the creativity was just off the wall. I was just smiling big watching that scene. It was so cool, so creative, and I think more movies in the future need to incorporate what this scene did. So here's a couple of things I didn't like. I did think this movie was a bit long. There are points in the movie where it could have moved a little quicker. The pace slowed down just a little bit, and I would prefer to just steam on ahead, get to the good stuff, but this movie could have been a tight 2 hours and I've been okay with that. And then I also felt like, as much as I love the story and as fun as it was, I felt like it copied a little bit too much from The Lost City with Sandra Bullock. The exact same case. She's a writer. The stuff she's writing is actually happening. You know, I just think it's a very lazy move to just copy storyline from a completely different movie and not having the ideas come from yourself originally. But other than that, this movie was so much fun, so much action. I highly encourage you to go check it out if you love any kind of spy movies. If you're into Matthew Vaughn, if you've seen any of the Kingsman movies, this movie is going to be so much fun for you to watch, so I highly recommend check it out as soon as you possibly can. So for Argylle, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. So remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. What's your favorite spy movie? See you next time.